Now look, I'm gonna be honest, I know Destiny's not in a great spot right now, but regardless of the state of the game, it's always fun to just game with some friends and just enjoy a raid together. So we're rounding out the year with a Christmas community bash, doing some raids and dungeons together, and doing some giveaways in my live stream right now, today from 1 p.m. to midnight Eastern at twitch.tv/Mactics. So come stop by, maybe even with this busted build equipped, after you get done watching this. I'll see you in a bit. Enjoy the video. Welcome back to another episode of Will It Build Destiny Edition. We're in the Christmas season, the giving season, and as such, I want to give something to all of you. Specifically, I want to give away 5 emblems with this episode shown on screen right now. Literally all you have to do is like the video, make sure you're already subscribed to the channel, and leave a comment down below letting me know what you hope that you get for Christmas. Today we are taking a look at a Stasis Hunter build submitted by PandaPaw featuring the Mask of Fealty Hunter exotic helmet that was introduced in this episode of Destiny 2. However, back when it was introduced into the game at the beginning of episode Revenant, it was actually a little bit bugged. Specifically, where if you look at the armor perks, it says using Withering Blade to shatter crystals or frozen targets releases a spread of Withering Blades. The frozen targets of that part was not actually working. So if you throw a shuriken to shatter a stasis crystal, it would indeed release a spread of Withering Blades. However, if you threw one at a frozen target, it wouldn't work. That has since been fixed though, and I'm very excited to see how this build performs with some slight reimaginings of mod and fragment selections and how it feels with the bug fix so that it is working properly and it is at 100% power. So looking at the build, Mask of Fealty, weapon-wise, the only weapon that they said we really want to use is the Fair Judgment auto rifle, which is the current episodic ritual weapon. You can get it simply by getting some Vanguard reputation or some Crucible reputation, or for the 3 Gambit players still out there, some Gambit reputation. You can grab it from Zavalos/Shax/the Drifter, and very simply it comes pre-curated with Rhyme Stealer, where destroying a stasis crystal or defeating a frozen target with this weapon grants us frost armor, and it's going to give us Headstone, where precision final blows with this spawn a stasis crystal at the victim's location. Perfect for us being able to throw a little shuriken right at it, blow it up. Very easy way to begin our ability loop through our exotic helmet. And the other 2 weapons they said were for the most part dealer's choice. They said they really liked an auto-loading grenade launcher that you could use to bring out and break extra stasis crystals if you don't have a shuriken available. So I'm just going with my auto-loading empty vessel. However, you can run whatever you want here. And for our exotic, they once again said dealer's choice. They said they like running Dragon's Breath, so I'll just go ahead and give that a try. As far as subclass goes, obviously we're locked in Silence and Squall on our super. That's the only option we have. They did recommend Gambler's Dodge. Makes perfect sense so we can get more shurikens. Withering Blade being our only option here. And what's interesting is they've set us up with Glacier Grenade, which does make sense because Glacier Grenade obviously creates loads of stasis crystals. But previously, when I tried out this build, I really liked trying out Duskfield Grenade in conjunction with Touch of Winter, so that my Duskfield Grenade would spawn the stasis crystal inside of it and I could throw it at that. So I'm interested to see how it feels, especially given the bug fixes and whatnot. Really curious to see how it feels with Glacier Grenade. As a result, we don't have to run Touch of Winter, so we're actually a little bit more free in our aspects. They have us set up with Grim Harvest, where anytime we defeat a slowed or a frozen target, we're going to make stasis shards, and picking up those stasis shards are going to give us a melee ability energy, which is perfect so we can get more Withering Blade action. And it says while Grim Harvest is equipped, picking up stasis shards will also give us stacks of frost armor, so bonus damage resistance through this build as well. Also going with Winter Shroud so that our dodge is going to slow nearby targets. And in my opinion, the more important part of this for this build is that anytime we slow something, and it's not just with Winter Shroud, just slowing things in general, so that's going to include our Withering Blade slows as well, is going to briefly increase our class ability regeneration, which is fantastic because it means our Gambler's Dodge is up more often, which means we can use Gambler's Dodge more often to not only get a positive feedback loop going with Winter Shroud, but to also refund Withering Blades. Moving on to the fragments, they've got us set up with the Whisper of Fissures, which is going to increase the damage and size of the burst of stasis whenever we destroy a stasis crystal or defeat a frozen target. Makes perfect sense with a build like this. Got to set up with the Whisper of Durance, where slow that we apply to targets is going to last longer, and for abilities that linger, their duration will also increase. That's only really going to be relevant for Silence and Squall. I'm not too sure about this Fragment. I'm wondering if there's maybe some better options that we could run here, but as always, we're going to test out the build they recommend, and then we'll make changes down the line. In slot number 3, Whisper of Shards. Shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts our grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals will increase the duration of the benefit. Makes perfect sense to me. We're shattering tons of crystals, and that's just going to get us more glacier grenades and thus more crystals. In slot number 4, we've got Whisper of Rime, where our frost armor has increased duration and maximum stack count. Specifically, this is going to enhance our frost armor, increasing the maximum stack amount to 8 up from 5 and increasing the duration up to 13 seconds, up from 9 seconds is going to be the typical base rate. And that is going to take the damage resistance that we get up from 22.5% at 5 stacks up to a maximum of 36% bonus damage resistance at 8 stacks. Finally, we're going with the Whisper of Chains, where defeating targets while we have frost armor has a chance to create a stasis shard. Now, I'm not sure how effective this one is going to be because we're basically already making stasis shards every time we kill something through Grim Harvest, because pretty much everything we kill is going to be slowed or frozen. So I'm wondering if this will allow us to get 2 stasis shards from a single target, one from Grim Harvest and the other from Whisper of Chains. If so, then I like it for the purposes of giving us extra melee ability energy and giving us extra stacks of frost armor. If it does not in fact work like that though, then I'm wondering if we're going to want to swap this one out down the line. Moving on to armor mods, they've got us set up with a harmonic siphon, which makes perfect sense since we're using a stasis primary ammo weapon. They've got us set up with heavy ammo finder, which I like, and they've got us set up with a hands-on, which is going to give us bonus super energy when we get melee final blows. Moving down to the gloves, they've got us set up with a focusing strike, which is going to give us class ability energy whenever we cause damage with a powered melee attack. Makes perfect sense to me, going to be happening very frequently. A heavy-handed, where we get orbs of power created whenever we land powered melee final blows, which again makes perfect sense. One that's a little bit more interesting to me though is the momentum transfer, where causing damage with a grenade is going to reduce our melee cooldown, which makes sense in theory. However, I don't know if the glacier grenade is going to specifically cause instances of damage, and I don't know if breaking the crystals and having them deal damage counts as a grenade instance of damage and will thus proc this mod. So we'll have to keep an eye on this and see if this is actually going to work. If not, we're going to have to swap it out for something else. Down on the chest, simply resistances of your choice. I'm going with the concussive dampener and 2 elemental resistances. Moving down to the boots, they've got us set up with a stasis weapon surge mod, so we're going to get a 10% weapon damage bonus for our primary weapon. A invigoration mod, so that every time we pick up an orb of power, we get a little bit of melee cooldown, and recuperation, so that every time we pick up an orb of power, we're going to get a little bit of health back as well. Finally, on the class item, they've got us set up with a Reaper mod, so that every time we use our class ability, our next weapon final blow is going to spawn an orb of power. Powerful attraction, so that the class ability cast scoops up all nearby orbs, and an outreach mod, so that that same class ability cast is going to give us a little bump to our melee ability energy. Now, finally, before we go out and test the build, they do have some artifact mod recommendations. However, I don't believe that any of these will be necessary for the functionality of this build. They're just going to make it a little bit better. So if you are looking to use this build outside of Episode of Revenant, where we have a different artifact, I think you'll still be completely fine. But if you are using it in Revenant, which you probably are if you're watching this video shortly after it's released, then they recommended that you go with one with Frost, where while Frost Armor is active, stasis weapons gain increased reload speed and stability, which is going to be nice for our auto rifle, as well as rapid impact, so that dealing damage with a grenade launcher temporarily increases the reload speed of grenade launchers. Don't think this is really going to be necessary if you are going with an auto-loading grenade launcher, though. In column 3, they've got us with Wind Chill, where rapid stasis weapon precision hits grant us a stack of frost armor. Again, not really going to be necessary. I think we're going to be getting so much frost armor just through Grim Harvest, so I think we'll be good to go even without this. What is a much more exciting artifact perk, though, for this build is Crystalline Converter, though, where as we gather stasis shards, we're going to get stacks of Crystalline Converter, which is going to be very frequently. And then our next powered stasis melee hit is going to create stasis crystals equal to the number of stacks we have. So this could actually be really, really fun with this build. In column 4, they've got us with Armor of Aramis, where while Frost Armor is active, taking critical damage from combatants causes us to emit a freezing burst. In conjunction with Hail the Storm, where shattering stasis crystals releases shards of ice that damage and slow targets. I think this one is going to be especially big for this build. Finally, in column 5, Brain Freeze, where frozen combatants become surrounded by chilling fog, which slows combatants that aren't already, as well as Served Cold, where picking up a Stasis Shard is going to grant us class ability energy. So we're going to boot up Contest of Elders. I've got Makomi and Hootzifer from the live stream, twitch.tv/Mactics, where we record all of these live. Would love to have you stop by sometime to answer that question, will it build? Okay, so step one that I'm really curious about is I want to see if grenade damage does actually proc our gloves mod. So I want to throw that out there and like bait something over to it and see if my melee energy gets any noticeable spikes, and I don't think it is. Okay, so it does look like it can do damage, but I think you have to land it like directly on top of the enemy. I might be losing my mind. There's a chance I'm losing my mind. When I break the crystal with my gun, it still shoots out all the withering blades. That is not supposed to happen, right? It's only supposed to shoot out all the withering blades if you throw a withering blade at it. But if I break it with my gun, that's from Hail the Storm. Okay, that's Hail the Storm. I thought I was losing my mind for a second. Let's see if our grenade damage is in fact giving us a bump. I really want to test that out ASAP. So I'm just going to throw both those out there, and I'm just going to throw that. No, that did not move my meter whatsoever. That did. But is that momentum transfer? I can't tell if momentum transfer is what is giving me that grenade energy back or not. Let's take momentum transfer off and see if we still get those bursts of refund. I'm gonna throw at this acolyte. No. Okay, so it looks like it is actually working surprisingly. So if I bait these thrall over here. Wait, I feel like it didn't work that time? I'm so confused. Okay, I think momentum transfer is actually working. I think when you shatter the crystals from the glacier grenade, the shatter damage from the crystals is counting as grenade damage. So I think that actually is a good pick. Let me do that so I can break that and proc shards to get some grenade regen. And then I have my grenade back, and I'm gonna get rid of that one. Okay, felt like it didn't happen that time. Give me another instance of shards. Okay, I'm gonna stare directly at that melee. The reason this is hard to test is I can't tell if the bursts of my melee energy are coming from the mod working or if they're coming from like me accidentally picking up stasis shards or something and getting melee energy back. You also get a goofy amount of melee energy back as well from Mask of Fealty's first part. Withering Blade hits and bounces create a small stasis crystal and refund a portion of melee energy. So you're getting a ton of melee energy from this build so far. Okay, hold on a second. I'm staring at it. Okay, we're definitely getting a bump. And then if we wait a little bit for the internal cooldown to finish, which I don't think we waited long enough right there. You're definitely getting a bump from the mod, so I think it's worthwhile to use that mod for sure. I kind of like the angle of this weapon though, right? We got headstones, so you get a precision final blow with the weapon, and that's going to create a crystal, and then you can throw your shuriken at that crystal. Or if you're dealing with a tankier target, you open with your grenade to create the crystals, right? So precision final blow, then I can throw that. That guy's frozen, then I can throw another. That's going to make me a ton of shards. And you effectively have your grenade up 24/7 with Whisper of Shards, plus how many crystals you're having on the field at a given time. Get the Silence and Squall at that dude. And then I'm going to throw that out there. Shuriken. Freeze him. Shuriken. Dodge. Shuriken. Missed the Shuriken. Oh, wait a minute. Or did I? Oh, he's frozen. So Shuriken. And then that creates another one. Shuriken. And then he's still frozen. Break him. Ice Wall. Shuriken. Dodge. Shuriken. Yeah, the miss Shuriken part was not, that is ill-advised. You know what I think I want to try out? I don't know how much I love having Whisper of Durance on this. I'm really curious how this would feel if we swapped it out for Whisper of Refraction, where anytime we defeat a slowed or frozen target, we get class ability energy back. My theory is that this is going to skyrocket our class ability energy, and like we'll be dodging nonstop, and dodging nonstop means shurikens nonstop. Give me my precision kill. And dodge for my shuriken. Another precision kill. Woo! Woo! There's another dodge. Throw that. Golly, that's a lot of crystals. Get that sucker down. Boom. There's our dodge back. Dodge again. We have full melee energy right now. Make sure we're killing the crystal here and there for... Whoa! Okay, you throw like one shuriken into a pack of enemies and they all just instantly blow up, I guess. The amount of class ability energy that we're getting back, oh my god. Look at the class ability. This is goofy. Alright, I'm gonna let these dudes show up. Another shuriken. Kill slowed / frozen enemies. Gives me a ridiculous amount of class ability energy thanks to refraction. So I can hit our dodge. Hit another dodge. Shuriken. He's frozen. Yeah, that's a ton of class ability energy. If you wanted to go with a weapon with chill clip, like the brand new Iron Banner sidearm, I think could be ridiculous for this build if you wanted to try that instead of the seasonal weapon that I'm currently running, the ritual weapon. I think that could also be really, really, really strong. And honestly, I don't know if it really matters though that much, to be honest, because I mean, we're pretty much killing everything with just our abilities. Yeah, this is nuts because you get so much class ability energy, which translates to melee energy anytime you kill slowed or frozen targets, which is everything. Plus, every time you kill slowed or frozen targets, you get stasis shards that get created from Grim Harvest, which gives you a ton of melee ability energy. Plus, every time you break a stasis crystal, which are everywhere, you get a ton of grenade ability energy through Whisper of Shards. So you effectively have all three of your abilities up 24/7, and then they loop into each other. Because here's the thing, right? Defeating targets while you have frost armor has a chance to create a stasis shard. I'm not sure if this is really necessary with all the class ability energy that we're getting to use Gambler's Dodge to refund a charge of our melee. Plus, we're already making a ton of stasis shards. If we did like Whisper of Conduction where nearby shards track to us, this could be like a really big quality of life. That gives us 10 resilience as well, so we can move some stats around. Get a little bit more mobility, so our dodge cooldown is even lower. Ooh, perfect. Perfect use of headstone right there. That's exactly how we want that to go. Then we got that back up. Maybe get another headstone. Yep. And then we got tankier targets, so this is where we'll implement the grenade. Woo! That's a beauty. I'm kind of curious about something now that I'm thinking about it. I wonder if the withering blades that come from the Mask of Fealty crystals, if those also count as powered melees and will thus proc things like heavy-handed and hands-on to create an orb of power and grant bonus super energy. I want to try and test that out real quick. Okay, so if I dodge and I do this, but I think the shatter from the... I think the shatter from the crystal is what killed him. So that gave me an orb of power. What if I just do... I'll do this. That completely missed. Okay. Okay, I didn't generate a single orb of power in that entire cluster of enemies, which makes me feel like hands-on and heavy-handed might not work. I mean, it works if I direct hit them, obviously, but how often am I doing that, realistically speaking? Again, no orb of power creation. Oh, I made one right there, though. It might work. It might just be very, very, very inconsistent. Wait, let's run Dynamo. With us picking up refractions, we're popping our dodge so often. I feel like Dynamo's gonna probably give us more mileage anyway, to be completely honest. And then down here, instead of heavy-handed, why don't we just do a harmonic loader, actually? So we reload this bad boy a little bit more quickly. And while we're at it, I think we can afford to take off Dragon's Breath. I feel like it's not really doing all that much for us. If we wanted to take further advantage of the Stasis Weapon Surge, we could go with the Stasis Heavy Weapon, like that. And then that actually lets us open up our exotic slot. What if we did something crazy like Icebreaker, Precision Final Blows, or Shattering a Frozen target? Triggers an ignition. This could be kind of saucy. Throw that down. Shuriken. Dodge. Boom. Got both shurikens up. Boom. This is kind of the, this is show-off time. This is a little montage time. Oh my god. Look at all that. Whoop. Dodge. Whoop. Throw that bad boy. Hold up. Ignition. Boom. Throw that. Dodge. Shuriken. Oh, wait a minute. Ow. So, will it build? Absolutely, yes. We did make a couple of tweaks in a couple of areas. I really like their selection for the primary ammo weapon, but I do think you can run whatever you want and really take full creative liberty to run whatever you want in the secondary and heavy slot, especially if you want to experiment with Salvation's Grip. I think that could be awesome for this. In terms of mods, I definitely liked changing up. I liked having Dynamo a little bit better, and I liked kind of getting rid of the heavy-handed. Just felt like I wasn't getting a lot of mileage out of them. And in terms of the subclass, I felt like Refraction is a must-have. I would definitely make sure to slot Refraction in here and slot 2. In terms of Conduction felt like a very nice quality of life pickup, but I think if you do feel like you have your melee available a little bit more frequently from Whisper of Chains, if you feel like you're getting some more stasis shards out of that, then I think you could justify running that over Conduction if you don't mind running around the map and scavenging up the stasis shards. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Will It Build. Thank you for being patient with me and my slow Destiny upload schedule. I've been trying my best, but with trying to broaden my horizons, try variety content a little bit more in conjunction with it being the holiday season, haven't had quite as much time to put into Destiny Will It Builds, but I try to make sure that when I do have time to do them, we get you guys something super useful, super enjoyable, super fun, and super interesting. I wish you all the best in your holiday seasons. I wish you all the best in the remainder of your 2024. I wish you the best in the beginning of your 2025, and I can't wait to see you there. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.